What's up, guys? Sorry we're late, but we are here.
Oh, Dave, you waddled away and you didn't tell us when the thing was going to start.
Hey, man, like, look, I had.
I think we saw you waddling back though.
Yeah. No, well, YouTube did. You guys might have, but
walking around like you got big nuts, which you don't.
Well, technically, I do right now because they're swollen as fuck.
They're swole.
They're swollen.
Are your nuts swole, Dave? Is that what you just said?
I mean, I said swollen, but whatever. You're old. I'll excuse it.
Okay.
Swole is the goal, man. Size is the prize.
Yeah. So not that this is anybody's information, but yeah, I got neutered on Wednesday. We went ahead and put a kibosh on the baby making machine, and yeah, it's
walk us step by step, Dave. How did it feel?
So they give you a Valium that you take an hour before the surgery, and let me tell you, if you've never done Valium, it's good. It's real good.
So what you're saying is they should make it legal.
They should not, because it's dangerous. Like, the pill is like the tiniest fucking thing ever. I took it, and they're like, "Hey, you can't have anyone drive. You can't drive
55
at all, right? You can't drive after you take this." And I was like, I took it. Obviously I had Sally drive, and on the way there, it's about a 20-minute drive to the doctor's office, and like 15 minutes in, I'm like, Sally, I'm fucked up. Like,
so they keep you awake for this thing?
Yeah, 100%. But then,
so you got the did you get to see like a mirror of them cutting your sack open?
Oh, sure. I was so interested. No, not at all. So, they fucking stick a needle in your sack, right, in each side, like so he sticks it in one side, and you feel the needle go in, and then you feel a burning as he shoots the anesthesia in there, right? And
and then my knees hurt right now.
And then you feel basically nothing on that side of your nuts while he's, doing the thing, right?
My butt just puckered up.
And then he goes, "All right, one side done." Fucking sticks the other one. And man, I don't know why, but that second one, I think that maybe the Valium started to wear off or whatever, but that second one was fucking, I was like, "Urgh." And he's like, "Does it hurt?"
They're like, "No."
And I was like, "I'm just having my nut stabbed," is what I said. And he's like, "All right, well, let me get some more anesthesia in there." So I'm like, all right.
You already stabbed it once.
And so, but in all seriousness, it was over in about 20 minutes total from the time the surgery started till the time it was over. I spent like an hour and 20 minutes in the waiting room. So, the anticipation was like, I was just like, man, this Valium better not fucking wear off, because I'm losing my courage here. And I was like, Sally, do you want to just have kids and have more kids and say fuck this? And
she's like, "No, Dave.
No, that's why we're here." And so, yeah. So it was fine. The recovery first day was fine, but dude, I'm telling you, like it is no fun walking around right now. Like, it's not fun at all. Like,
You've been going to work?
No, I took Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. I'm hoping to be back by Monday, but honestly, if I feel right now, like Monday is a question mark for me. Like, I really don't know. But
hey, Dave's boss, his nuts hurt. He can't come to work.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the most fun conversation to have, but especially
because your boss is a female, right?
Yeah, but it's fine. I'll let her know. I mean,
Dave's getting awkward voice.
Here's the thing. I feel fine.
Yeah,
I feel fine if I don't move, right? So, if I'm just here, we lost Josh for a second.
It's okay. He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be right back. So if I don't move, I'm fine. But the problem is, as soon as I move, it's a problem. So, and at my job, there is frequent getting up and moving around and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta go get coffee. You gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, the important stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, that's it. Hey, YouTube exclusive
what?
content.
Oh yeah.
We all saw Suicide Squad. Movie's not good enough to do like an official review of it, but we'll give you a quick, some quick thoughts here, I suppose. I liked it. Those two guys thought it was whatever, but I thought it was.
Listen, I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. I'm just saying that it's not any good.
Yeah. That
Like,
would be
I enjoyed the movie.
me and Dave talked about this a little bit earlier, and I will tell you, the movie for me was brainless, unenjoyable action, gratuitous violence,
Very brainless.
lots of foul language, etc. But if you're like me and you don't like monster movies, like you're just not gonna like this movie.
I think it's a false statement. It's not really a monster movie though. Like,
it turns
not really.
into a monster movie.
Yeah, for like the last 15 minutes.
I know, but the thing is, for me, and I said this when I was watching it, I felt like I was watching a monster movie, and then it turned into a monster movie, which I didn't know.
Because of Weasel and the shark and then the giant starfish.
You had like band of misfits comes together, sent to a deserted island to discover some kind of unknown foreseen danger that turns out to be like Godzilla.
Okay, I don't think any Godzilla movie plays out like this movie, but it's whatever.
I had a question though. So starfish is slang for asshole, right?
Correct.
Does that have anything to do with this?
I thought about that, and I was like, dude, I was waiting because that's such low-hanging fruit of a joke, right? Like, I felt like this was the type of movie, like, somebody was gonna make the joke somewhere.
Somebody did.
When?
John Cena.
No, I didn't. I must have missed it.
You're too busy being distracted by all that.
Yeah, they're in the room. They're in the room getting the rundown, and John Cena's back there taking notes. He's like, starfish, slang for asshole.
I do remember that.
Does that have anything to do with this? No.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay.
The shark raises his hand and goes, hand.
Yeah, dude. When I realized that was fucking Sylvester Stallone as the shark, I don't know why. That shit just made it better for me.
That made it worse.
No, dude, it didn't.
Look, John Cena is the only thing worth watching in this movie.
Josh, look, I'm gonna be real,
and Polka Dot Man.
I'm gonna be real, okay?
Probably.
Out of the three of us, you are the one that was supposed to love this movie. Don't lie. This movie
right up your alley.
Like
when
I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, it's got John Cena. He is cussing. It's got people dying fucking super violently. There's infinite amount of cussing, nonsensical violence. The story is incoherent. This is Josh Brewer right here. Right?
What? Why do you got to put the story part in there and then tie me to it?
Because you love Fast and the Furious.
So what? There's good story all the way through.
No.
Yes. Yes.
This movie's better than Fast 5, and like you love Fast 5. I'm surprised you haven't seen the new Fast and Furious where they got magnets, bro.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new one yet, and it's rated so bad. I'm gonna watch it at some point.
You'll probably like it.
It's like, dude, that shit was amazing.
That shit was dope.
You're gonna be like, you're gonna text us, guys. I just started Fast 9.
F9, you got to do it.
And then do it. We got to do a podcast on this movie. This is so fucking good.
And then 2 hours later, like, you're gonna want to text the truth, which is this movie's trash, but your pride won't let you. So you'll be like, guys, must see. And then we'll watch it, and then we're like, Josh was terrible. Yeah, I said you must see. You must see how bad it is. You didn't get that text? You didn't get the rest of that?
Oh, Jesus.
Look, I did enjoy Idris Elba and his name being Bloodsport, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching it while they're in the back of the truck, and god damn it, he says the fucking word for the death touch, the dim mak, and I was like, he says it, I was like, what?
Dude,
and I was like, I was like, death touch. And Amanda's like, what? And then he says, the death touch. I was like, this is it. It's going to do it.
And
then, they do some whatever that is. But I was just like,
dude,
Bloodsport,
this
my
movie
guy.
literally has everything that you would like.
And listen, it's not true because I'm not a big fan of a walking around shark.
Dude, that shark was so good.
Dude, they just, one of the problems I have is, like, I feel like Harley Quinn is always a disappointment.
Here, hot take.
And I love the girl who plays her, but
hot take. Harley Quinn has never been interesting. Never.
Well, I've never been a DC guy. Look, I didn't read Marvel comics either, but Marvel's just done such a good job with their movies. But I don't know. I mean, you always hear about how popular Harley Quinn is, but I don't get the I don't get it.
I feel like she's like a Boba Fett type of situation for me. Like, she's been propped up by fans, but I don't think the character has ever been truly interesting, personally.
I mean,
what about the detachable kid though?
That was so hilarious.
Fucking
dude, when he was dying and it was like RoboCop style, he was on the ground with no arms, like like,
as they shot his arms full of holes.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Like, why didn't they give that dude guns and so he could float his fucking arms over there and go shoot everybody?
Dude, why isn't he an assassin? Why doesn't he like go behind them and kill them? And he's got, he's got arms.
He's got no leverage. Did you see? That was the worst part.
Because he's all weak.
His arms slowly float over there, and then when they start hitting people, they're just like rubber gloves. Clap. Yeah. Like, these people aren't even like. He didn't even make anybody bleed. Like, there was no. He didn't even break somebody's nose. It was awful.
So
Cena was good though.
Oh, Cena stole the show. I actually. Like, I'm more interested in seeing some Cena movies now. I know he's in F9. I'm not interested in seeing that.
I heard.
I'm not interested in that.
I heard that there's a possible spin-off for John Cena's character.
Oh, great. Oh, wow.
But not a movie. I don't think it's going to be a movie, though. I don't know.
Oh, great. Oh, wow. Grimskull does not approve.
That's not even Grimskull's voice.
No, it's not.
I wasn't doing Grimskull's voice.
My voice is more like this.
Oh, God. Anyway, hey, what's your shitometer score for the Suicide Squad?
39.
Fossil?
I have to stay true to my ranking. I would never watch this movie again. But I could easily know people that I would recommend it to. So the very best score I can give it is a 50.
Yeah, I would give this movie about 86.
You're such a fucking liar. Dude, go ahead and give us your real score. There's no fucking.
Man. I'd give this movie a 39.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you actually have that as your score?
Nah, it is still yours.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Nah, I had it as a 45.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, like, look, is it a good movie? No. Not at all. It's entertaining, though.
But it's very entertaining, yep.
I will say this. They tried. They really went balls to the wall, and they went for it.
Here's the sad part.
It just didn't appeal to me.
At a 39, for me, this is still one of the better DC movies that they've put out. Like, that's just how bad the DC movies have been. Like, so for me, it's the original Wonder Woman, like the Wonder Woman movie. Like, I still think that one has been the best. And then I would say the new Justice League that was just redone. Like, I really liked that one.
Oh, shut up!
I actually did. I thought it was great.
That was shit.
Nah,
the director's cut.
Yeah, the Snyder cut.
Oh
I thought that was excellent.
I haven't watched it.
36 minutes of slow motion in the movie, Dave. That's your jam, huh?
I just thought it was a good movie. And then I think now I'm not counting the Christopher Nolan movies. I think those are to me those are their own separate tier. I wouldn't even associate them with the other.
Why is it that besides like a few of the Batman movies, when they got a little too
Silly?
cornballish, if you just took all the Batman movies and set them to the side, they're still better than just about every attempt at any other DC movie that they've made.
Honestly, I think Batman is just easy. Like it's a brooding hero.
Dude, how hard is it to do Aquaman? And they fucked that up.
Aquaman is terrible. That's why it's hard.
It is.
He's already, as I say, he's already a terrible superhero.
I mean, but you had an actor that was born that was like he was cast for this. Like, you had a perfect golden opportunity.
Yeah, but Aquaman sucks. Is the problem?
Like, I mean, so does a lot of superheroes.
I think the bigger.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, Thor sucks too, right?
Yeah.
In theory. But yeah, I mean, they did a good job with Chris Hemsworth, and they've morphed it into being something way better.
Now,
look, I personally don't like the Flash, but a lot of people that I know like the Flash as far as the TV series.
I think Superman has been one of those that on paper should be good, but I think maybe it's just because Superman
they've done a terrible job with it.
Yeah, I think Superman is just overall kind of boring of a superhero. So it's like
he never uses his power. If you're never going to use the full might of your power.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is Superman is like, if you really think about it, nobody should ever even come close to beating him. So yeah. Anyway, we are trailing.
That's not fun.
We are trailing like a motherfucker. People are trying to watch this. Are like, when is this going to be about the Sixth Sense?
Yeah.
So
let's get this shit rolling.
Josh, you should clear your camera one more time because you are already falling behind a little bit.
God damn it.
Sticky notes.
Only if he knew anybody in IT.
I mean, he had to go and buy a Mac. I don't know shit about Macs.
Why are you talking shit?
I don't. Jason said Josh should know somebody in IT, and I was like, look, I don't know shit about Macs.
You don't know shit about shit, Dave.
Not really. Fake it till you make it, bro. Excuse me. All right. I'm ready to go.
Let's do this. Pull it, Josh. Pull it. Misdirect incoming.
Longest cold open of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but he doesn't have his camera on.
Yeah, I'm going.
All right.
Sorry. I was trying to pull up the AFI list. I couldn't remember what the next movie was that we were doing after this one.
Oh, what is it?
Bringing Up Baby from 1938.
Oh, man, that's going to be...
God. I'm like, dude, can we get a break from some of these old movies? Like, I know we just got one right now, but can we get a stretch of movie 1960 at least, on up. Is it in movies in color? Can we just? That's what I want.
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Do it.
Born ready.
Is my mic cutting out or anything?
No, you're good.
All right. Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents a comprehensive review of the American Film Institute's top 100 films of all time. Number 89, The Sixth Sense. I'm your co-host, The Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami.
And David Disaster. What's up, everybody?
We made it.
We did it. Good, great, grand.
Yay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so hey.
Is summer be over?
Oh, man. It's hot.
It's very hot.
It's hot as fuck outside.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I work in an office, so, I don't really experience that.
Yeah,
but it is hot outside, though.
Yeah. It's sweltering. Say, team, we're back this week, and we're back on the AFI Top 100 list here. And as you heard during the intro, we're going to be doing or tackling the number 89 movie, The Sixth Sense, from 1999. So we're doing something a little bit more contemporary here after knocking out the 1936 classic Swing Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was I know this is a movie we've been kind of looking at for a long time here, coming up on the list, because obviously it's a super exciting movie. It's very, it's more contemporary than most of the other movies we've been doing on the list here, and obviously this movie is known for its great ending.
Yeah. So
is this not to cut you off, but is this the newest movie that we've reviewed?
Almost. Oh, the newest one that we've reviewed already. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not the newest one on the list. The newest one on the list will be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. This is 99, and I think Pulp Fiction is
94.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Josh, why don't we, for those who might be tuning in for the first time, why don't we just kind of run through, kind of what we're doing with this and what they should expect going forward.
Yeah, so we decided a little while back here to tackle the American Film Institute's Top 100 Films list of all time. And it was really just in a quest to discover, are these movies really as good as they say they are?
Yeah.
And look, we're not smart people. We're not film critics. We don't have good opinions on things. We can just tell you if things are generally entertaining to us. And that's really kind of where we're trying to come from here, is, are these movies entertaining?
Yeah, so we kind of initially took a look at this list, just kind of because we all like to watch movies, and we were just curious. We came across this list and we were like, how many of these movies have we even seen, right? And so I think overall, the most any one of us had seen these movies was about 25 or 30 of these movies.
Yeah.
And we started looking through the list and we're like, well, how good are these movies today? And are these good movies that you would just kind of turn on a weekend or on your free time, where you would just, like, you're bored and you want to watch a movie, right? So do these movies kind of hold up to just kind of pick up and watch, right?
Yeah. For the everyday man, are these movies really as good as everybody says?
Yeah. So do you need to be kind of a film aficionado to truly enjoy these movies, or can you be an idiot like us and still enjoy them, right? So
I think so far, I would say for the most part, most of these have been pretty enjoyable. We've only had a couple of stinkers, I would say.
Yeah. So in true fashion, what we've done is, after we kind of talked about these movies, we created a patent pending review system for them, to kind of rate them, and then at the end of all of this, 5 years from now, we'll be able to discuss. What
is it called?
I'm getting there, Fossil. You're interrupting my presentation here. So
monologuing.
No. So we have the shitometer.
Yep.
And what that is basically the higher the percentage, the more amount of shit that we consider to be in the movie, and thus the worse it is. So less is better, and so that's what we're basically going to go through here today. We're going to talk about some things with the movie, give our thoughts, and then at the overall just kind of give our impressions and shitometer score. So. That's basically.
And before we jump into The Sixth Sense, just give you a heads up. Here, not next week, but the week after, we'll be tackling the number 88 movie of all time. So if you guys want to get a head start here, that's going to be the 1938 classic, Bringing Up Baby. So we're going back to the 30s.
I can't wait.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right. So let me do a couple of things here real quick, and then we'll get into a recap here from the Fossil. All right, so The Sixth Sense. Actually, you know what, Fossil, you recap first. I apologize. Let's recap first, and then I'll give you some stats.
All right, so The Sixth Sense is a 1999 American supernatural psychological thriller, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It stars Bruce
Willis. A ding dong.
Yeah, it stars Bruce Willis as a child psychologist whose patient can talk to the dead. our journey takes us through the troubles Cole is experiencing dealing with the dead he sees and the individuals within his life who think he's crazy, while simultaneously following Malcolm as he attempts to rebuild his career as well as his relationship with his wife after suffering an assault from a prior patient who's no longer a child.
All right. So, Sixth Sense. So, this movie actually released on August 8th, 1999. So, tomorrow will actually be its 22-year anniversary.
Not on her.
We planned that shit.
I wish we could have planned that because that's pretty good. So, the budget for this movie was $40 million. The worldwide gross for this movie was $673 million.
That's quite a lot.
That is a big, massive return.
This movie did okay. And just kind of give you an idea of what the word of mouth was for this movie only opened to $27 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was not a super successful opening weekend, but it certainly built up over time. Just a couple of quick little stories about the movie here that I was able to pick up. So this was a Disney movie, for anybody who didn't know. So the president of Disney, David Vogel, he wanted to avoid a bidding war for this movie, and so he paid M. Night Shyamalan $2.25 million for the rights. But he did it without obtaining corporate approval from Disney. Disney didn't like that. So in return, they asked him to restructure his contract and give up some of his presidential powers. He refused, and Disney fired him in July of 1999.
Over this movie?
Over this movie. Disney had
$673
million.
Wow.
Yeah. Disney had such little faith in this movie that they sold the production rights to Spyglass Hill or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they only maintained a 12.5% box office receipt.
I'd be curious to know what, unless you have it, but I'd be curious to know, like, after the movie was a worldwide success,
phenomenon,
what were their thoughts then?
Dude, I
don't have that.
If I'm the guy who got fired, like, I photocopy like the middle finger, and then I mail it to all of those guys that were on the board.
That's walking into Disney, fucking middle fingers blazing.
Yeah.
All right, one other quick story here. So Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was in. I was trying to look up to see if there was anybody else who could possibly have been cast in this role, because this is a pretty blah role for Bruce Willis, in my opinion. But Bruce was actually forced to be in this movie. So he was set to star and produce in a Disney movie called The Broadway Baller.
That sounds
because he was the producer of this movie, he had the ability to fire the director, which he did 20 days into production, and he caused the movie to essentially be shelved. So, facing a lawsuit and a bill for basically the $17.5 million that he wasted during this movie, he signed a 3-picture deal with Disney in which portions of his salary would repay the loss.
Wow.
Those 3 movies that he was forced to make with them: Armageddon, The Sixth Sense, and The Kid.
I'd say 2 of those 3 pretty successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. He still made $10 million for doing this movie, so not much of a punishment, I would say. But I guess his going rate at the time was $20 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, when you think about it, I wonder if I don't know if he's ever done an interview for it, but or that he would ever speak ill about any of that. But it almost makes you wonder in those situations, like, if you could have talked to him, like, say right before the movie released, and he's just like, man, whatever, dude, I'll do this fucking movie, and then it just blows up.
Yeah, I mean, he's done 2 other M. Night Shyamalan movies since this, so clearly
Unbreakable and Glass, right?
Yeah, clearly he liked working with him. So
yeah. After that, $600 million.
Yeah. So this movie was actually nominated for a slew of Oscars. It was nominated for 6 different Oscars.
6.
I I don't think it
Yeah,
won.
hey.
Did it win?
How about that? So this movie was nominated for Best Film Editing, which it lost to The Matrix.
Okay.
It was nominated for Best Writing, which it lost to American Beauty.
Okay.
He was nominated. Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan was nominated for Best Director, and he lost to Sam Mendes for American Beauty.
I understand that.
Yeah, Cole's mom, Toni Collette, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, but she lost to Angelina Jolie for Girl Interrupted.
I mean, look, that's a good role.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that.
My man, Haley Joel Osment, 9 years old, nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Is that the youngest?
Lost to, probably. He lost to Michael Caine for The Cider House Rules.
I've never seen that movie.
I have not either. And then this movie was nominated for Best Picture, which it lost to American Beauty. So it was nominated for 6 Oscars and didn't get any of them.
Damn.
I feel like, man, I mean, look, that's awesome that it was nominated and recognized. I just feel like it just came out. I feel like it just came out at the wrong time. I guess American Beauty was very. What's funny is is American Beauty even on the AFI's list?
No.
That's the funny part. It's not even.
That's
on
a great
it.
movie.
I don't know.
It is a great movie.
So that would tell you though that it's not the Oscars that necessarily put this movie on this list, but I think it's more the social impact, and not the same social impact that Do the Right Thing had, but just how much people were talking about this movie and for how long. So this movie came out in August of '99. This was the highest selling VHS and DVD in the year 2000.
Yep.
Holy shit.
So this movie was in the consciousness for a long time in a really big way.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it. Regardless of how you feel about M. Night Shyamalan's career as a whole, I mean, this movie put him on the map, and for a brief period of time, he was kind of the guy for thriller type suspense movies.
Yep.
I mean, I think his first 3 movies that he came out with, which would have been after this, I think it was it Unbreakable and then Signs?
Oh shit, Dave! I didn't know you were going to ask me all that. Let me go find the IMDb. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure it was Unbreakable, Signs, and The Village. Now I know The Village was not widely received well, but Unbreakable and Signs to me are excellent movies.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, M. Night Shyamalan was definitely on, if I'm correct. He was on a pretty big role.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs. Yeah, in that order. So you're right, Dave. Good call.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think about that, I mean, his first 3 movies that he came out with, wrote and directed. I mean, he was on a fucking roll, and then obviously he came out with some bad movies, but
Yeah.
It happens to the best of them.
yeah. So, do we want to do quick?
So
thoughts
put yourself. So Dave, put yourself in a movie theater in 1999. Did you see this in the theaters?
I honestly can't answer that question. I don't know. I can tell you that when the first time I did see it, I did not know the big spoiler. And I guess spoilers going right now.
Going forward, yeah.
If you've never seen this movie,
Stop
and you
right
don't
now.
know the end, please
Stop.
stop.
Like no joke. If you haven't seen this movie, just quick thoughts. I cannot recommend this movie enough to you if you know nothing about this movie. Go
Yes.
watch it right now.
Yes, because
It will never be more enjoyable to you than the first time you watch it.
Time you watch it.
Don't ask anybody
Absolutely.
about it. Don't ask anybody else if they've seen it, because they might accidentally spoil it. Just stop, go watch it, and then come back.
Yes,
But
Fossil, did you see this movie in theaters?
I sure did. Me and the ex-wife saw this in theaters.
I just remember. I remember when the moment happened, when the reveal. Obviously I was a lot younger. I was a freshman in high school, but I did not see the twist coming at all, like zero. And it was so well done. Like, I remember watching it. I wanted to see it again immediately. Like, I immediately wanted to rewatch it. Because I felt like, I remember thinking, there's no way that this was that like, because I in my head, I'm thinking.
That it was so obvious.
Yeah, in my head, I was thinking, but no, he talked to people. And then you realize.
He didn't talk to anybody.
Oh, no, he may have talked, but nobody actually talked to him. Like, and then you're like, shit, he really is dead.
Yeah.
Like,
how quickly? I mean, it's hard to say it like the first time you saw it, but like I remember going to the theater, and I just remember like you could hear a pin drop. The quietest scene in that movie is when the ring falls and hits the ground.
dude.
And you could literally hear people gasping. No, I wouldn't say gasping. Maybe that's a little too loud, but you could hear this rumbling, like everybody was kind of figuring it out at a different moment. And then you could hear other people going, wait a minute, what? As soon as I heard it hit and I saw it roll, I was like, oh shit, he's dead.
And then they start doing the flashbacks.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I can't. I mean, maybe if we really tried to shotgun it and tried to think this through, but I can't remember a movie in which the timing was so perfect, in tune with the amount of time your brain probably needed to put the pieces together before it jumps right into the flashback to confirm what you're thinking. And I just remember getting goosebumps.
I got goosebumps watching it again.
Same.
Me and Dave were talking on the phone about it, and we both got goosebumps.
Yeah. Like, he's just like, and then he's realizing that he's dead, and then it's flashback into to the kid, and he's like, they don't know they're dead. I see them all the time, and it's just showing you scene by scene, and it's just hitting you, and you're like, oh my God. And then it wasn't, and then something else subtle that it doesn't actually explain in the movie, but you realize it later, is everything red. There's a big theme of red that has to do with anytime there's a there's the color red involved. So there's the red on the doorknob, the red dress that his wife wears, the balloon. When he's listening, I'm getting goosebumps right now. So whenever he's listening to the old cassette tape and he turns it up, you can see red on the dial as he gets all the way up to 10.
Yep.
And it's just the little subtleties there that are just so well done and so good. I'm just going to come out and give you my shitometer score because I'm at an all-time high right now. I would say even on a rewatch, this movie gets a 16 for me. It is absolutely fantastic. And I would say, had this been the first time I'd watched it, like had I known nothing and just came in completely 100% blind, this would have gotten less than a 10. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, Josh.
So I saw this movie twice in theaters way back when. I remember going to see it with some friends and then running, and then going back to our band hall after this, and this asshole that I was with running in and saying, Bruce Willis is dead the whole time, and ruining the movie for like 50 people that were in this room. And I was like, what a fucking asshole. But anyway, shout out to Juan on that one. So I had a goal this week of trying to find somebody at my store that hadn't seen this movie because, like we said earlier, this movie is never as good as it is the first time you watch it. And so I was really wanting to get somebody that had not seen the movie and didn't know the twist. Okay. And I didn't have any luck at the store. Shame on me. I waited a little too long, and this one guy I was trying to pressure to do it, he wouldn't do it. So anyway, so I get to Friday, and I'm like, okay, I got to watch the movie. And so I'm telling Amanda. Amanda's like, just watch the movie by yourself in the office. I'm like, I'm not watching the fucking movie by my goddamn self. You're watching it with me. Okay, fine. And a couple of days before that, we had already discussed that she would watch the movie that day, and then we would go to the movie theaters and go see the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. So I was excited, and then, as women do, they change their mind. So anyway, I get her to watch the movie with me, right? And she's told me that she's seen this movie. So I was like, okay, I just need someone to rewatch it with me, right? And so we get into the start of the movie where you got fucking Donnie Wahlberg in here, shooting Bruce Willis. And I was like, man, good thing he lives through that, right? And she's like, yeah, it's a good thing he does live, man, because it'd be a short movie or whatever she said. And I was like, huh? In my head, I'm like, wait, what? And then it goes to the next scene where he's sitting on the park bench, and she's like, yeah, see, he's still alive. I was like, she doesn't know. she hasn't seen this. I'm like, oh my God. So instantly, I could barely contain my excitement. I am like,
now
I'm
it's
fucking
like now it's almost like you're watching it for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so excited. So now I'm trying to manage her, right? Because now I'm like, okay, it's getting kind of late. She can't go to sleep. I got to make sure that doesn't happen, right? And I got to make sure she's paying attention. And so I'm still not sure yet, but I'm like, now I'm excited. And so we get another 30 minutes in, and she says something else. I'm like, fuck yeah. She has no idea what's going to happen. This is excellent. I'm going to see it happen.
Yes.
So anyway, she's totally bought into the movie. She's not falling asleep. So good. And so we get to the end of the movie, and the ring hits the ground, and she's like, he's dead? And I was just like staring ahead. Got to be the biggest shit-eating grin in the history of time, because I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I got to witness this. And this movie, it's one of those movies that I think, especially after the first time you see it, it affects you a little bit, right? Because you take it with you, you start questioning yourself, you start questioning all the stuff. We had to talk about this movie for like another 45 minutes after we finished it. Like, I didn't go to bed until after fucking midnight last night because of this.
That is when you know you've watched something really great.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was super excited to be able to be there to witness it with her. But it's probably the first time I'd watched a movie in 15 years, so it was good to kind of go back and revisit it, and again try to watch it and try to pick up all the little things that, as you know, he's dead. Yeah. And like I said, I still got goosebumps. Oh, I'm sorry, he's dead. I still got goosebumps the whole time I watched the movie. I thought it was excellent. I came in with a 17 on my shit-o-meter score.
I think is that your lowest score you've given to a movie so far?
Yes, it is.
I can't remember what I gave Goodfellas.
This is better than Goodfellas for you. You gave Goodfellas a 23.
Yep.
What did I give Pulp Fiction?
A 26.
26.
All
right. So this movie is an excellent movie. I know that this is a subdued role for Bruce Willis, but I think he plays it perfectly. Soft-spoken, psychiatrist style that he plays with. I cannot believe for the life of me that Haley Joel Osment did not go on to just dominate Hollywood.
I mean that seriously.
And I mean that too.
Yeah.
He is so fucking fantastic in this movie.
He steals the show. Spoiler alert for
everybody.
me.
The next time you would really the next time you would notably see him is dying in The Boys.
Yeah, he's
also in the Entourage movie.
Yeah, he had a couple of big roles, but not like this.
I would need to do. Maybe I should have, but I need to do a little research on him. He may have just decided to take a step away from acting.
No, that's not what happened.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a second. But his mother, fantastic.
Yes.
The scenes, all the scenes are shot perfectly. Every scene is telling two different stories almost.
Yeah.
One is you're watching it through what we perceive to be as Malcolm is alive and he's trying to help this child. And then you see the same scenes again in the flashback and you're just like, oh shit, like why did I not see this? The twist at the end is set up beautifully. I don't know a single person who honestly ever figured it out before it happened.
No.
Who isn't lying. My shitometer score for this one is a 14.
Oh.
So this, wow. So we'll have to figure this out at some point, but this is going to be our first ever tie as far as the highest rated movie that we've reviewed so far. It has a 15.7, tying with Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
I think the tiebreaker should be which movie has the lowest score.
Lowest single score?
Well, yeah, lowest individual score. So, like, Pulp Fiction has a 20 in there, so I think that would make it the second place movie.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah, Pulp Fiction is an 11, a 10, and you gave it a 26. This one is a 14, 17, 16. I think this one would edge it out because overall we all thought higher of this movie than Pulp Fiction. So,
yeah,
and 100% my score is driven by the twist.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Are either of you surprised at how well or how much you still liked the movie, even knowing everything and even after having seen it, all this time, right? I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I didn't realize I was going to enjoy it quite as much as I did.
Yeah. I agree with you. I watched it today while I was cooking dinner, and then after I finished dinner, I watched the last of it. Man, you just forget. This is one of those movies, we've talked about this before. Like, this is not a movie you can just watch like on repeat. It doesn't hit the same if you tried to watch this like every day.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I found myself, I wouldn't say trying to poke holes in it, but watching it, knowing what's going to happen, and realizing that the actors are still not giving anything away.
Nah, dude.
Like you're just sitting there going, like, I know it's coming, and I still don't see it.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is normally a left-handed person. He learned how to write right-handed for this movie just so he wouldn't give away the fact that he wasn't wearing his wedding ring every time you saw him writing something.
That is pretty slick.
So, do you never see his left hand, or you do see it, but it's
you
subtle?
only see it at the end. I think you only see it really at the end. I don't think you
ever see a close-up of it.
Yeah, I don't think you ever see a close-up of it.
Wow.
But there's only one.
Now I want to watch it again.
Yeah, no. There's only one part in this whole movie in which, if you were really trying to think outside the box, that you could have gotten this any earlier, and that has to do more with his reactions to the guy who keeps coming around the house talking to the wife.
Yeah.
Because instead of either confronting the wife or confronting the guy, he kind of takes the passive approach.
Yeah.
And while I look, everybody reacts different to that situation. It's like that is the only part in this movie where you could just kind of question what's going on. And I still don't think that people would be able to put the two and two together.
I think taking everything in context with, like, assuming you're going in thinking he survived that gunshot, I think you still kind of just give that a pass. Like, they just have a shitty marriage and it's basically hanging on by a thread. Like, he doesn't spend time with her.
Yeah, you can easily deduce the fact that after that traumatic attack, that things just weren't the same.
Yeah.
And that they've kind of, whatever happened in that year, she was not the same person and he was not the same person. And you can put those pieces together almost instantaneously from the first time that he goes back home.
Yeah. So in an effort not to talk about every scene, do we want to go ahead and just give our best scene? I'll go first because I really have one that I wanted to talk about. And that was the scene. I think it really showcases Haley Joel Osment, and it's not going to be the very I guess quotable scene where he says he sees dead people. Yeah, I purposefully wanted to avoid that scene. It's a good scene, but I don't think it's the best scene. I think it's the scene where I keep blanking on the character's name, and I'm upset with myself. Cole, yes, sorry. It's where Cole shows up, and you see Malcolm and Cole's mother sitting down. Presumably, you think that they had some type of a meeting to discuss Cole's ongoing therapy.
I had the I See Dead People scene as one of my favorite scenes, but
am I back?
I felt like my favorite. Yeah, I felt like my favorite scene was the scene where he's watching and listening to the guy try to hit on his wife, and he's watching him from the basement window, and he's like, "Keep on walking, cheese dick."
Yeah.
I love that fucking scene. I thought that was so funny.
Apologies for that. I don't know how much you heard or got of that. Where did I leave off?
Something about you like
the last thing I heard was
Well, I mean, can you tell me more about where it was at before that so I know where to start the story?
You were talking about Bruce Willis and Cole's mom sitting down, and we're presuming that they were having a discussion.
Okay,
correct.
Sorry about that.
A bag of dicks.
So, Cole walks in, mom goes to make pancakes, and they start having a conversation. Malcolm says, we're going to play a little game, and, you take a step closer if I'm right, and you take 2 steps back, or, take a step back if I'm wrong. And just that whole back and forth with them as Malcolm is trying to kind of get a read or trying to understand Cole. And it's not so much Bruce Willis's acting in this. It's really Haley Joel Osment. I really think that he really shines in that when he's kind of describing he's talking about how he was drawing drawing pictures and how he had to end up talking to the teachers because it was really fucked up. And he's like, yeah, I don't draw those anymore.
Yeah.
I just draw
So what do you draw now? Rainbows and unicorns, motherfucker.
Yeah, you don't have to have conversations about rainbows. And I just think it really shows Cole's character as he's really is tormented, but he knows how to cope with it. Not cope with it, but
hide it.
He knows he needs to hide it because people see him as crazy. I mean, he's constantly asking his mother as
a freak.
Yeah, he's like, what are you thinking, Mom? It's actually pretty. It's not pretty sad. I mean, it's incredibly sad. This kid has been tormented basically his whole life because you get to see his pictures and everything, his childhood pictures, and you realize he's always seen ghosts. Right?
Yeah. That's actually one of my low key scenes when the mom is cleaning house and she's looking at the photos, and every single photo has that little
shining thing on it.
Yeah.
Thing on it.
So that was just one of my scenes that I wanted to point out there. That's kind of not one of the obvious ones.
Yeah, I like the closing scene with Osment and his mom when they're in the car in the traffic jam.
Oh, that's so good.
Where the bicyclist just ate it, and he's like, "I'm ready to communicate now." And that whole conversation, he tells her the story about her mom. It's just it just kicks you in the gut.
Dude, I honestly, I low key almost teared up during that just because.
I mean, look, I got allergies. I got allergies during that part.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so hey, I'm glad you brought this up because this was a question that I was going to say for later, but I'll do it now while you brought it up. So, you guys are both parents.
Yeah,
correct.
I am not, so I have no idea. So let's say both of your oldest come to you, and they say, "Hey, Daddy, I see dead people."
Yeah.
What goes through your mind when that happens?
So I'm probably taking this question too far, but I have to when you ask me that, I have to assume that this movie doesn't exist.
Right.
Because that kind of would ruin it, right? So assuming this movie
we're in a different multiverse here.
Yeah, where this movie isn't a thing. So my initial reaction, if I'm being completely honest, would be like to laugh it off kind of and just assume he's joking. Because that is kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But if he was adamant and it was for real, I mean,
I'd be like, we're gonna make so much money. You don't even know.
I'm going to be honest, Jason. I'm not sure that would be your response.
Why not?
I think you'd probably want to talk to somebody about it. Like,
I mean, look, I'd be like, hey, why don't you go play with your toys? I'm gonna call mom right quick.
That might be my choice as well. Like, look, we're gonna have
to
talk to your
like Tamara. Listen to what this little freak just told me.
No,
Which freak? Like, you mean our kid? Yeah. That's the one.
Like, I mean, honestly, that's impossible to deal with, right? Like, I just don't know, because if you know what probably happened in the movie, but you're gonna take him to somewhere or some psychiatrist or somebody to talk to, right?
Yeah,
and they're gonna want to prescribe him pills.
Yeah, I think I don't want to use funny, but I think the best part about this question is that you see it play out, and the mom's reaction is almost on point with how you would honestly react to it until he tells her the story about her mom.
Yeah.
And you can
then she's bought in.
Yeah, and then you can see like the light go off when there's just no way that he would know this story.
Yeah, I think it would take some event like that to where because like in my case, my oldest, he never met my grandfather, right? Like ever. So if he would say something that related to my grandfather or my grandmother,
I would probably have a heart attack.
That would be something impossible for him to know otherwise, right? Yeah. So yeah, like that would be brutal. Now, just a funny thing that I just thought of, this completely unrelated to your question, Josh. When me and Sally were watching this movie, there's a part in the movie where it's raining whenever Malcolm and Cole are like discussing or something at his apartment. And I heard thunder, and we paused the movie, and it was raining outside. It was kind of really fucking creepy. Like it creeped me and Sally out for about a good like minute or two. We look at each other and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And she started messing with me, and I full disclosure, I fucking hate ghosts. That shit freaks me the fuck out. Because of all the tropes, like aliens and like monsters and like all that stuff, like I don't buy into any of that. But like ghosts, like I mean, who fucking knows, right? So like that's kind of like that's the one area where I'm like, like my worst.
So if you came downstairs tomorrow morning and all your kitchen cabinets and drawers were pulled out, you'd be like, what the fuck?
I'd be going back upstairs,
dude. I swear to God, I'd be going upstairs. But like, I'd be like, Sally. It'd be one of those situations where I got hit with a sandwich. I'd be like, why'd you do it? I'd be Sally. I'd be waking up Sally. She'd be like, what's going on? I'm like, you opened all the cabinets. Why are you trying to fuck with me?
She'd be like, babe.
She'd be like, what are you talking about?
She'd be like, I was asleep this whole time. No. And then I would call you and Jason, and I'd be like, which one of y'all drove a motherfucking hour and a half to my fucking house, broke in, and opened up my shit and left?
It wasn't me, Dave.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I had the time.
Yeah. I'm glad you don't. I'm honestly glad you don't.
All right, well let's move along here. Favorite characters?
I'm going with Haley Joel Osment. I'm going with Cole.
How can it be anybody else? Like I like
Cole's mother
Bruce
is a
Willis.
runner-up.
Yeah, I like Bruce Willis in this film, even though it's he plays the psychiatrist, the soft speaking to a T, but it's got to be Cole.
Yeah.
I have two separate answers than that.
Okay.
My first one here is also the winner of the Roy Batty Award for overacting, and that's going to be Donnie Wahlberg, Vincent Gray.
Oh man,
That's my favorite character for the whole movie.
I'm going to be honest. I did not know that was Donnie Wahlberg until this podcast.
Are you serious?
100%.
I knew
That's Carwood Lipton himself.
Yeah, I knew it when I saw the movie the first time, and I spent most of the first couple minutes trying to convince who I was with that was who that was.
Yeah, he lost 43 pounds for this role.
And he acted.
Listen, he's my favorite character in this movie because listen, the movie wouldn't happen without him.
That's a true story.
Technically, that's correct.
There you go. My second favorite character is the guy in the ring shop. Whenever he's ring shopping and Bruce Willis's wife is selling the old lady, he's like, "You got anything a little plainer?"
Yeah, anything a little more plain.
Hey man.
Man.
Look, she's a good salesman though. No joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she had old girl eating out of her hand. So, but I was rewatching that before we came on. I was like, oh man, that's too good. I got to put that on there. What about least favorite?
It's Bruce Willis's character.
Wow.
Oh, tell me more, Dave.
I actually don't think Bruce Willis like when you told the story of Bruce Willis being forced to act in this movie, I did not know that prior to ever. Like this I learned that today. Okay? But now that I know that, I think it shows on film. Like I don't think this is his best work. I'm not even going to say Bruce Willis is not even an amazing actor anyway.
Yeah.
This is not his best work either. I think I'm not saying he completely phones it in, but I think you could have literally got anybody else to do this movie and
Val Kilmer
wouldn't matter.
Oh yeah, that'd have been great.
Samuel L. Jackson. You see dead what,
yes.
motherfucker?
No, like in all seriousness, you could have get anybody else to fit that role who's halfway decent, and it would have been better for it.
I disagree. I like Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, look, at some point, Bruce Willis just became Bruce Willis in all these movies, and especially like in the last 10 years. Like if you watch any of these direct-to-video movies with Bruce Willis here recently, he's the same character all the time. He just doesn't have like really any range anymore.
No. I'm not sure if he ever had range. But to be quite honest,
I don't know. He's also my least favorite character. Just as an honorary mention, I did have the guy that's constantly trying to bang his wife, Sean.
That was
like,
my vote.
That dude is. Oh my man, that dude is weak, man. He's like, you want to go to the Amish country with me and look at furniture?
Yeah.
No. And then he goes outside. And he's like, bullshit, and wipes the leaves off his car. Like, what a pussy.
And then he's like, well, if I buy some when I come back, you want to look at it? Man, get the fuck out of here.
Bro, get the fuck out of here, you weak ass bitch.
Bro, his game is so fucking weak.
He was in the long game and he got stuck in the friend zone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I like Bruce Willis, but to me he's John McClane, I'm sorry. He's John that's a different person. He's John McClane, and that's pretty much it.
I don't know. I liked his character in this movie. I thought he played the child psychiatrist well. I mean, there's
Jason,
not
are you gonna have a lot of questions?
No, not really.
Let's do age well first, anyway, and then we'll go into questions because I actually have some questions typed out this week.
Okay, good. Because I don't have a lot of questions at all.
I do. Aged well. Obviously, I think the swerve.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like even today, knowing it's coming, still fun to watch. But man, watching it with somebody else who didn't know, that was so good.
Yep.
Do we think? Okay, obviously this isn't. it's not the first time that a movie has done a swerve like this. But I just wonder how influential this movie's swerve was on subsequent movies, not just of M. Night Shyamalan, obviously, but just like other movies. The one that comes to mind is like Saw, which is
another great swerve.
The first Saw, to me, is the only one worth watching, by the way. Not to get off track, but that's just my opinion on that. But yeah, I do think the swerve holds up incredibly well because it's so well done. That
there's not a lot. There's almost even though there's foreshadowing sprinkled into this entire movie, none of it really is blatant. To where like, look, it's not like shaking your head, going, "Look, dumbass, it's right there."
There's no smoking gun. I mean, I'm sure someone on YouTube has done something to where it's like, "Look, see right there, they fucked up." And I don't think, like, even like knowing it, I can't. Like I would, like the whole time I was watching it the other night, like I was like literally trying to tell, and like you just can't.
It's tough, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. As far as just a couple other things that I had that aged well here were Haley Joel's acting, and then just the rewatch of the movie. Just like, you know, we always ask the question: is this movie rewatchable? I think it's definitively yes, because I think you have to rewatch it
at least once
just to go back and see the stuff you missed.
Yeah. I think this movie is like, I don't know. Obviously, we're early on in this reviews, right? We're only 11 movies in, but I don't know that we're going to get another movie that is as rewatchable like as this. If rewatchable was a scale, this would be at the top for me, because you have to watch it one more time.
I don't know, man. I mean, you have to rewatch it, but there's other movies that are just so good to rewatch on this list coming up.
Well, I'm just looking at it as
it's in a gray area. It's like when you first watch it, you definitely need to rewatch it again, but then you need to take a break, because when you come back to it, it's just as good, even though you know the twist.
Yeah.
I would say, most of this movie. I would say most of this movie has aged well.
I would say this movie has surprisingly aged well.
Yes.
You know, they do have, there's not even a lot of stuff in the movie that really dates it necessarily, outside of the cassette tape and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to say. That's the only thing I have that aged poorly, outside of some questions, is just the technology, just the voice recording technology, and just like, you know, the little girl having to record herself with a camcorder being poisoned versus probably setting up her cell phone and doing that these days.
But
that was another scene that I meant to bring up when Osmond gives him the box and he says, "She wanted to tell you something," and then he goes and puts that shit in, and you see it unfold. Dude, that shit is so fucking good.
Dude, I mean, like, you asked us earlier about it, like us being parents. Like, that was another scene where it's like,
it was dusty in my house.
You know, initially he's watching it thinking that, this is like, his daughter's doing this little like puppet show. It's a sweet little like moment that he didn't know existed. And he's tearing up, and then he realizes his wife. And I don't know, I'm sure you guys caught it, but like during the whole funeral, not funeral, but like
somebody else said the little one's now coming down sick too.
Yeah, and that was I think it was subtle, in my opinion. Like, you realize
when they first walk by her and she's on the swing, she's coughing. Yeah,
you realize, she's been poisoning her too, I guess for the insurance money or whatever.
Who knows?
And it's just like,
I wonder what happened, like right after like cut scene, like if it was playing out for real. Like, what's the next move for the dad? There's a house full of people, and I can't tell you like what I would do to my spouse if that was the situation, but there would be so much fury, like wanting to be unleashed. I would be thankful that there was 100 people in that house.
I wouldn't be thankful. The spouse would be thankful. that there's 100 people there, and I think in order to like control yourself, I think you just immediately have to call the police, like, because I feel like you, out of fear of what you might do if everybody starts to leave, because it's going to get awkward and people are going to want to leave.
Yep.
God,
are we at age poorly yet?
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, like I said, for age poorly, I just have the technology.
I didn't have anything from a movie, like from a movie making standpoint. I didn't have anything that aged poorly.
Yeah, there was no special effects, practical effects, besides like say the dead people. But even most of them weren't. They weren't anything that was so grotesque that they needed, prosthetics out the ass.
No, I don't think there wasn't much of any computer animation in this at all that I remember. It was all really well done. I thought overall, like the suspense, like the music, we haven't talked about the music at all, but like the music and everything was very well done. Like,
talk about the cinematography, Dave.
I mean, it was excellent.
It was excellent.
I thought
I can't believe it wasn't nominated for an Oscar.
Honestly, I thought all of the shots, dude, M. Night Shyamalan, and we've brought this up before, but he might be one of the best people. It sounds so silly when I'm saying it, but like at making somebody just walking across the camera fucking creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about the Signs scene with the alien walking past that, and like that shit gave
Vamonos, kids, vamonos.
It's the timing.
It's the timing with the music.
Yeah. Like I said, the scene that you're talking about in Signs, when you're watching the TV screen, you're watching it along with
Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin, yeah.
And there's this pause, and it's just long enough for you to go, like, there's nothing gonna walk across the screen. And right as you think that something walks across the screen, it freaks the shit out of you.
Well, then the music hits, and then you see Joaquin's reaction because he freaks out. But taking it back to Sixth Sense, there's a moment when Cole has got to use the restroom. He's got to pee in the middle of the night, and you can tell he knows that something bad is going to happen because it's cold in the house. Yeah, and cold always represents that there's an angry ghost, right? So he runs and he pees.
Not always.
Most of the time. And so when he pees, then all of a sudden you see somebody walk by. And dude, the funny part is when I rewatched it, I remember that a ghost comes, but I didn't remember the ghost walking by at that moment. And dude, I immediately was like, oh fuck.
Dude, I still get freaked out when he sees the little girl inside the tent.
Oh, and she's like,
she's sick, vomiting.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, because that was his like safe zone, and he goes in there, and she's right there and he flips a flashlight, and he like screams and fucking runs.
Yeah.
God, dude, what about whenever he gets locked up in the fucking little elevator or lift
or whatever?
That's brutal,
dude. And the mom is trying to get him out, and she's just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. It almost seemed like the actress was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like that was so stressful.
It was like, cause I don't know, like, I don't know if I've actually been in that situation, but as a parent, you
go into super panic mode.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you just get this feeling like you've got to do something, but you can't do it. But I got to do something, but I can't do it.
The closest I've ever gotten to anything like that would be like if we're like this hasn't happened this hasn't happened since Luke was born. But I remember we were at like the Children's Museum with Daniel, and me and Sally, we were looking at something, and we turn around and we don't see Daniel. And
instant panic,
and it was only like 25 seconds. It was about 20 or 30 seconds. We bolt in separate directions, and we're calling his name. There's other kids around because it's a children's museum, and we're like, Daniel. He's like 3 years old, And we're like, where the fuck is this kid? And sure enough, like, because then we run around and we come back to each other, and neither one of us have him. And we separate again, and then all of a sudden he runs out of a court, and he's like, yay! Like, he's fucking just having the time of his life. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And we're like, Daniel, where were you? And he's 3, so he's like, I'm playing. Like, oh my God, dude. That's nothing compared to what this mother must have been going through. Her child is literally screaming. And she's right there. She's right there, and she can't get to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's change the subject, because that's stressing me out.
So, hey, just a couple of questions I had. Do you think Cole was happy that he didn't have to eat roast beef anymore? When she sent him away from the table, and she's like, "You've had enough roast beef," and it's like, this ain't fucking Arby's, bitch.
The pendant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bumblebee pendant.
Yeah.
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 All right, more seriously here. Okay, how does he get the job of being this kid psychiatrist?
I know what you're getting with, as far as like how did he just come into this, and that's just into the how the fuck does all of this ghost shit work anyway?
I think that's part of the mysticism. Yeah. Like, if I had to guess, I feel like Cole is like an unwilling lighthouse in the sea of ghosts, right? Like, they're just drawn to him because he's a window, right? And they don't even know why that they're drawn to him.
Yeah, because some of them aren't really interacting with him as much as they're like going through the motions of whatever little moments, like the abused mom that's in the kitchen.
Yeah,
you know, she's not actually talking to him; she's just screaming at him, living through her moment where she's committed suicide or whatever it was.
Yeah, so I think he's just kind of a beacon, and I think at some point Malcolm, as being a ghost, right? Like, I think he was just kind of drawn to it, and he started just kind of his life of being a child psychologist kind of just took over, and he just went through the motions, basically.
Yeah, because we know what he's going to Cole for help anyway, because he's trying to, he feels bad about not fixing Vincent Gray, right?
Yeah.
So we know him going to Cole is really like, that's what he's trying to fix. That's what he's needing Cole to help him fix. And for sure. I just think, I think you hear Cole say, like, they see what they want to see. I just kind of jotted down some notes. The ghosts make their own reality. Likely in his mind, he was hired to do this. Like, whether that ever, obviously it didn't physically happen, but in his brain, he's probably physically or mentally, he's seen this happen, and he thinks he's working.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're probably correct on that. And that's just it. It's one of those things that if it ever tried to explain that part of the movie within the movie itself, like, you don't buy in as quickly as you do, because when after he gets gut shot, time passes and it just says next fall, and you see that he has this tablet full of notes about Cole, and so you just assume that he's still working and that he survived.
Yeah, that he's been hired. Yeah. Do you think? Excuse me. How long has he gone without talking to his wife?
Well, I mean, it's got to be, from the time that the shot happened. If it's the following fall, then I mean,
like, I guess my question is, like, at some point, is he like, man, this is like the world's longest cold shoulder?
I was thinking about that today. To this point, I'm assuming that he is not fully, like, coherent 24 hours a day. Like, as a ghost, he's kind of drifting in and out. And so, like, he doesn't sleep. He thinks he does. He doesn't interact with his wife, but he thinks he did.
Yeah.
So I think there's like it's like a drifting in and out.
Well, he's also in all the clothes that we see him in are the only ones that he was wearing the day that he died. So he never actually changes clothes or takes off his clothes or does anything like that. Like I agree with Jason. I don't even think he's actually like I think whenever when he died, I don't think he just like was a ghost the next day and was just chilling. Like I think he only manifested like after his soul basically was lost or whatever, right? Like I think he just kind of appeared there or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think it's
somehow in his brain he asked his wife to an anniversary dinner. Because he rolls up, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was the other Italian restaurant that I asked you to marry."
Yeah,
I mean, it could have been one of those things where this is where they went every year.
Yeah,
and so he's cognizant of what day it is. He just not of the time, and because he says that he goes, "I don't know what's going on lately. Like time just doesn't seem to be, his ally or whatever." It's not; those aren't his words, but he says something to that effect.
Yeah, so I agree with Jason. I think that's a good take. I don't think he has any concept of time anymore because it doesn't work that way for him anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then last question I had was, does Cole know that Malcolm is dead?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Yes.
I think
so too.
I think when he tells him his secret, I kind of think that Cole was hoping that he would figure it out, but he didn't want to tell him because he didn't know how he would react.
We know the movie does give us a little bit of a tell that Cole knows Malcolm is dead, because in the scene that I mentioned as one of my standout scenes, when Cole shows up and the mom goes to make pancakes, Malcolm is wanting to have a conversation with Cole, and Cole looks to his mom, and he initially doesn't want to talk because he doesn't want his mom to hear him talking to no one.
Yeah.
So that's when he kind of just like is just like nodding and yes or no, like, because he doesn't want people to think he's crazy. I guess.
Yeah, I think you do. You got any more questions?
Well,
that was all the questions I had.
One thing I had, and this is just a thought, like, where do we think Cole's life ends up after all of this, right? Like,
man, Dave, that was gonna be how much money did Cole make with this superpower?
Well, like, I just
fucking mesmer.
Mesmerizer.
I mean, there's no real way to answer this, but I just think it's interesting to think about, like, do we think Cole finds other people? I mean, I assume he's probably not alone in this power, right?
We know there's at least two people that have had it, him and Vincent Gray. So surely there's more out there.
Yeah.
But I do think you find a way to monetize that.
Maybe eventually when he's not a child.
I mean, if I was the mom, I'd be like, "Hey, what else do we need to know here?"
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how successful he's going to be able to be in life while dealing with this little thing on the side of having to solve all these ghost crimes. Unless these ghosts unless one of these ghosts is like the fucking Count of Monte Cristo and has the treasure of Sparta somewhere, and he can get that, and then he can just be retired and doing that in all his free time.
Cole in his 30s, ghost walking in his door. He's like, "Hey, listen, I need you to help me solve my death crime." And he's like, "I mean, what have you got?"
So
what's in it for me?
Last question.
You got some buried treasure somewhere?
I kind of already know where the answer to this is, but with M. Night Shyamalan's new movie coming out, it kind of like made me think about this as a potential question. If you heard about I'll say sequel to Sixth Sense with Haley Joel Osment, and obviously written directed by M. Night Shyamalan, how excited are you? And obviously it's going to be, it's going to as much time has passed in real life, that's how much time has passed, in the universe, right? And it's going to pick up with Cole. How interested would you be to see that? What do you think would need to happen? I mean, obviously there'd have to be. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so there's probably going to be a twist. Would you be excited to watch that?
I'd be excited to go see it. Maybe it's something to do with his dad, who you don't see during the whole movie. Like maybe it's something to do tracking down how he died or something that happened with him.
I would be interested, but only from the angle. I always like to know like what happened. Like,
yeah.
What happened? What did he do with his life? Like, if he didn't try and monetize that, I'd be upset. So, like, I would want to be vindicated. The movie would probably suck a lot of dick, but I would still want to go watch it. Like, I haven't been interested in a Shyamalan movie since Village.
I actually think The Village is not a terrible movie. I have always wanted to do like an M. Night Shyamalan themed podcast to talk about all of his movies or whatever, but yeah,
I'm down because I haven't seen half the movies.
Yeah,
I'm not watching The Last Airbender though.
No, I don't count that. I'm only counting the ones that are written that are at least written by him. Because
I've seen it. It's awful.
If you haven't watched Devil, Jason.
Devil's fantastic.
It's not directed by M. Night Shyamalan, because this was done. He wrote this like after kind of his reputation had already kind of was hurting from Avatar or The Last Airbender and all that. So he didn't direct this one, but he did write and produce it. And I mean, it feels like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It is actually really fucking good. Anyway.
So you'd be interested in watching the follow-up?
To Sixth Sense? Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know how it would go, but I would be interested in seeing it. I agree that it would probably be. There's no way it would be as good as this movie, and I honestly think it would probably hurt this movie. So maybe I wouldn't want it to see it made, but if it was ever made, I would go see it.
Yeah. Maybe just release a short story.
Yeah, maybe like a YouTube video written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan with Haley Joel Osment.
There you go.
Okay, so just to since we're getting here towards the end, we talked about Osmond earlier, as far as like his career after this. So before this, we all know he was in Forrest Gump. He was Forrest Gump Jr.
Yep.
Then he was in let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 other small roles before getting Sixth Sense role. When that one finished, he did I'll Remember April, like same year, never heard of it. Pay It Forward, which was a big movie in 2000.
I actually like that movie.
Spot the Dog.
Yeah, that is a good movie.
Spot the Dog in 2000. AI, Artificial Intelligence, good movie, 2001.
I do remember that being good.
And then in 2001, he made another one, Edge of the Lord. Then he was a voice actor in animated film, Country Bears, which was awful. And then his last like big movie, in my opinion, is called Secondhand Lions.
I remember that.
In 2003.
Yeah.
And then like he just kind of vanished almost. But he didn't stop working. Like he made let's see, Jungle Book 2, Home of the Giants, Montana Amazon.
Oh my God, we're not going to go through the whole thing, are we?
No, it's like I said, but what I'm saying is like this is 2010, 12, 13, 14. He made 2 and 14, 4 and 15, 2 and 16, 2 and so he never stopped working. He just stopped doing good stuff.
Well, I mean, we honestly don't know. I mean, we can maybe look it up. I mean, maybe it's one of those situations where he made enough money to have a living as an actor, and so he just starred in the films that he wanted to do because he liked the script or he liked the role. Not everybody has to be in the biggest, flashiest movies of all time. So I mean, he could easily be one of those cases. You know what I mean? So,
Look, well, not only was he in a lot of movies, he was in a ton of television shows, whether they were cameos or running parts. He's done video game voiceovers. He's done animated voices. I mean, the guy is not hurting for money unless he just really terrible with his money.
Nah.
Like he's been very active in working.
Yeah, he could be just doing what he wants to do. That's fine with that. Yeah, that's good. I'm really glad we did this. I'm not looking forward to the next movie on the list, admittedly, but it's
Bringing up baby.
Yeah.
Number 88.
We've successfully completed another podcast, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. I hope everybody has a good one and stays safe.
Later.
Live long and prosper.